Alright, section 3, type of the weld of the joints. General welding is the material joining process of the making the weld with the localized, with the cone tube, with the metal, with the non-metal, with the produce, either by heating of the material with the suitable, the temperature, without the application of the pressure pipe, with the application of the pressure alone, without the use of the filament or cone tube, with the growing together, with the growing in the one body. It is used in all of the welding proper definition. Welding is assembly with a component with the parts joined with the welding can be made with many with a few metal parts. Weldment may contain with the metal with a different composition of the piece within the form of the roll, with the shape of the sheet and plate, with the pipe of the forging and the casting produced with the usable structure for the weldment, and there may be used the welded joints between the various pieces of the make of the weldment, the joint made of the junction of the member for the edge of the members, which are to be joined with the have been joined filler metal with the material to be added with the making the weld, the braze, the solder joint. Base metal is the material of the welded solder cut. The property of the welded joint um, depend partly on the correct penetration. The edge of the being welded with the all middle scale with the rust oxide with the other impurities must be removed with the joint edges surfacing to prevent the inclusion of the welded material. The edges should be performed to permit the fusion without excessive melting. Care must be taken to keep the heat with the loss of during the radiation of the base metal from the welding to the minimum. The properly prepared joint will keep the both of the expansion and the heating with the contraction coating to a minimum. Penetration of the metal with the welding depends on the form of the thickness of the kind of the metal. Load with the weld will be required to support with the variable the main means to prepare the welds prepare the edges to be joined. There are 5 basic type of the joints, bringing the two members together with a weld. These type of joints are designed are used with a skill by other skills and trades. Their basic type of the joints are described below with the shown figure 616. B for your butt joint parts are approximately same plane. C for the corner joint approximately right angle to the edge for the bowl parts. E edge joint and edge of the two more parallel parts. Lap joint with the being overlapping points. And T joint approximately right angle to that. Not in an edge of one of the part. And it shows you basically the joints: your joint, butt joint, edge, corner joint, lap joint, end joint, and T. Alright, butt joint, the tap of the joint with the joint edge of the two places of the surface located with approximately same plane with the plane square with the butt joints light section with the figure 617 with the groove butt joints heavy section several type with the edges of preparation shown with 618 with the edges can be prepared with the flame cutting shearing flame groove with the machine chipping and carbon arc cutting with the gouging with the edge surfaces either can be carrot case must be free oxidized and scale with the dirt. Figure 617 shows butt joints in light sections, butt joints in heavy sections. Alright, butt joints continue with the square butt joint with the shown figure 616 with the butt light weld with a shield metal with a plate thickness of 3/8 and 1/2 inch going to be weld with the U thing single V with the U joints shown view A and C with the figure 618 page 621 with the edge to lay heavy your section 1/2 to 2 inch are prepared is shown in figure view B with the figure 618. Thicknesses of a 3/4 inch of the end up should be prepared and shown in figure D, figure 618, page 621. Edges of the heavier section prepared shown figure views views B and D, figure 618, page 621. The single U groove with the UC section, figure 618, 621, and more side effects require less than filler metal with a single V groove with a welding heavy section when welding deep groove. The double V groove with requires approximately 1/2 the amount of filler with the single V groove. For the same plate with the amount of the filler metal with a single V groove, the joint for the same plate with the thickness in general with the butt joints are paired with the both sides with the permit easier welding, producing less distortion, ensuring better weldment, metal qualities, heavier section than joints prepared with one side only. Corner joint with a common cone, corner of the joints classified as flush or closed with a half open or fully open. Top of the joints with the U of the two members located with approximately with the right angle with each of the U will form an L with the fillet weld with the corner of the joint with the view with the figure A with the figure 619. U with the construction of boxes, box frame tanks, and similar fabrication clothes with the corner joints with UB figure 619. U with the tray. Use light sheet metal with the usually 20 gauge or left with the lighter sheet metal with a higher strength, but it is not required with the joint with the mill in making the joint with the axis settling welding. Overlapping edge with the metal with the done and little with the no filler metal is added. The arc welding is only varied with the light B with the required with the making the joint with the when closing the joint. Use the heavy section lap with the V bevel or U groove the permanent penetration of the joint with the to the joint of the joint. Half open corner joints are suitable for the material. The 12 gauge heavier with the joint is being welded only performed one side with the loads will not be severe. With the open corner joint with the UC with the figure 619 used with the heavier sheets. Place two edges are melted down with the filler middle of the edge with the pillow up the corner with the type of the edge joint with the shrunk with the corner joints. Alright, corner joints are heavy plate with the weld with the both sides shown with the UD with the figure 619. The joints are first welded to the outside with the reinforcement from the backside with the seal with a sealed weld sealed bead. Alright, 613, edge joint. With the type of the joint, you with the joint 2 or more parallel, nearly parallel, member of the knowledge very strong with the U with the joint, edge of the sheet metal with the reinforcement over the flange, Y-beam, edges of the angle of the muffler with the tank with the for liquid housing with the two, etc. Two parallel planes are joined together. Is shown in view A with the figure 6 joint on the heavy plates of position with the filler metal with the S edge infused with the metal, each plate with the edge of the complete with the edge and reinforced with the joint. Your lap sheet, your light sheath, they're well with the shown figure view B with the figure 620, no penetration necessary other than to clean the edge of the tack well with them. The position the edges are fused together with the dome filler metal is required. The heavier to play with is shown. In view C with the figure 620, with the required that the edges be beveled in order to be secure with the good with the penetration with the fusion with the side wall with the filler metal is used with the joining. Figure 620 over the edge of the light sheet plates, the lap joint. With the type of the joint, you use two overlapping members with a single lap of the joint with the welding to be done with the one side with the shown view A with the figure 621, the double lap joint with the weld with the both side with the weld. Full strength with the using welded members of the view 6B with the 621. Offset lap joint with the view C with the 621. Use two overlapping that must be joined, welded in the same plane with the type of the joint is stronger than the single lap type joint and more difficult to prepare. Your T-joint are used to weld together, weld two plate with a section surface located with approximately 90 degrees to each of them with a joint with the surface of the one plate with a section that is not the same in the plane as the end of the other surface of the plane. The T with a joint welded with the both side with the shown with the view B with the figure 622, but they include the angle of the bevel of the penetration with the T-joints approximately half the required with the butt joints. Figure 622 show with the T-joint single pass fillet with the other edge preparation with the T-joint shown. Figure 623 with the plain T-joint with the required with no penetration of the cleaning edge of the vertical plate with the surface with the horizontal plate is shown in view A with the figure 623 with a single bevel joint with the view B. 623 is used to play section with the up to 1/2 inch of the thick with the double bevel joint with the view C with the figure 623 is used in the heavy plates can be welded with the both of the single J joint view view D with the figure 623 with the plane with the weld with the 1 inch thick with the heavier with the weld may be done with the one side with the double J joint is used welding very heavy plates on both from both sides. 623 shows you edge preparation for T joints. Our care must be taken with the ensure for the penetration of the root of the weld, with the penetration of the promote, with the root opening between the end of the vertical member and the horizontal surfaces. Type of the weld, general. The more, it's more important to distinguish the pipe with between the joint of the weld, with the much of the describe the completely describe the weld joint, with the more different the type of the weld, with the best described by the shape of the shown, with the cross section of the most popular weld. If the fillet weld name of the cross section with the shape of the fillet weld is shown with figure 624 with the near set. Second next popular is the groove weld with the size 7 the basic type of the groove weld with the shown figure 625 with the other type of the weld with the flange weld, with the plug weld, with the slot weld, seam weld, surfacing weld, back weld, backing weld, and joints are combined with the weld make to the weld joints. The example is shown in figure 6. Page 626, type of the weld, you determine the manner of the seam of the joint of the surface is prepared. Show the T lap joint, corner joint, and then your basic groove weld with the square groove with a single V groove, single bevel, the groove bevel with a single Jew groove, a single J groove, and then flare V bevel, flare bevel weld. Your butt joint, square, open, square weld at both sides, single V, double V, single bevel, the double bevel with a single J, corner joint, single A, single V, single fillet, edge joint, square with single V, lap joint, single fillet with a double fillet, with a double fillet with a single bevel, with a double bevel, and double J groove with a T joint. Alright, groove weld with the beads is positive with the groove with between the two members of the bead joint with the figure 627 with the same type of the grooves and show the one less than 1/8 and the square with the one side with the weld square and the welding both sides. Single bevel with double bevel 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick single V with double V and single J double V single U double V U. Alright, surfacing welding figure 628. The welds are composed with one more string with the weave with the B with the divide with the unbroken surface with the retain with the desired property with the dimension with the top of the weld, U with the build with the surface to replace the worn surface with the use with the square butt joints, plug weld with the plug weld, the circular weld as well is made with the one member of the lap of the T joint with the or T joint joining with the members the other way with the weld. Maybe they may or may not be through the hole, but the first member of the hole is used the weld. Walls maybe they may or not be paired with the hole partially with completely filled with the weld with the metal with the scotch weld. The metal is often only placed with the rivets used in place of rivets. No, fillet weld hole, the spot weld does not conform to the definition. To this definition, slot weld. The weld may be an elongated hole in one member of the lap of the T joint, along with the member. Surface the other member that exposed through the hole. With the hole, maybe one end of the maybe partially completely filled with the welded metal. With no fillet weld slot does not conform to all the definitions. Fillet weld. This weld is approximately triangular with a cross section joining the two surfaces appropriate approximately right angles to each other, and show the surfacing weld with the plugs through the welds and through members with the holes, slot welds, and through plugs made through holes. Flash weld. The weld made by the flash welding. Seam welding. Weld made by the arc of the seam with the resistance seam welding where the welding process is not specified with the term and infers with the resistance seam welding spot. Welding is weld with the arc spot with the resistance spot weld with the weather. The welding process is not specified with the term and inferior for the resistance spot welding. Upset welding. Weld made with the upset welding, figure 612. Arc seam welding, arc spot welding, flash welding, resistance seam welding, resistance spot welding, upset welding. Alright, section 5. Section 4, welding positions.